Hi everyone, welcome back to SlipTwpKnit. I'm Shelby and I come to you from Shelby Township, Michigan, which is where I knit. If you're new here, welcome and thank you for giving me a shot. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for coming back. It's been 2 weeks. I'm trying to stick to 2 weeks since my last episode. So let's try and make this a habit, Shelby. You can totally do it, you know. I don't know. I'm talking to myself. Anyway, if you're new here, just a little background. Like I said, my name is Shelby. I live in Shelby Township. I've lived here my whole life, more or less. And the local nickname for this place is Shelby Twp or the Twipp, which is why I've incorporated it into the name of my podcast, which is SlipTwpKnit, mashup, Shelby Twp, and the decreased stitch and knitting slip knit. So I think I didn't do that in my last episode, so I want to make sure I did that today. Little bit of fun today. I have a finished object. It's not quite a wearable object, but I'm calling it finished. And I still have another finished object that I told you in my last episode that I was gonna share at a later date. And I should go get it, but I'm not going to. So it's going to be another episode, at least until you see that finished object, I guess. Couple of works in progress, but I finished a languishing whip, and that's what I'm most excited about. So I will talk about it now. If you watched my last episode, you'll probably guess I finished my golden hour shawl. This is a shawl pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I had a lot of fun filming this. What? I had a lot of fun knitting this. It involves a few techniques that I was unfamiliar with previously. I have not done a garter tab cast on. I've never done mosaic knitting. Not really done any bobbles before. So quite a few things I've never done, and lastly, I've never done a picot edge on anything before, and this is technically, I think, a picot bind off. So I've done quite a few things that I've never done before with this project, which is really fun. I kind of like that. Andrea Mowry's projects generally seem like a lot of fun. But yeah, this is also my first real shawl project. I've never really done one of those before. So a couple things about it. As I said, it's a shawl project. Pattern is by Andrea Mowry, and also just for progress purposes, if you see my little robin progress keeper, that is where I was last time. So I didn't have a whole lot of ways to go, but if you watched my last episode, I lost my first game of yarn chicken on basically 3 counts. So I'll talk a little bit about the yarn that I used. The gray up here is, most of it is MadelineTosh. Most of it's MadelineTosh, Tosh Vintage. So this is MadelineTosh, Tosh Vintage. I think the color is Kitten. The orange is, again, MadelineTosh, Tosh Vintage in the color Citrus, and this cream color, which is a cream speckle. Let's see if you could pick up the speckles. You can pick them up a little bit. But this cream color with the black speckles is called Birch Gray. And I ran out of the yarn I ran out of the Kitten, and I ran out of the Birch Gray first. So I decided to pick up and work more on this section, which I was pretty much out of the woods, but I knew I was going to need more regardless. And then I was running out of yarn for this section here, so I did order more of the Tosh Vintage in the orange just because it was such a big section. I didn't want something to be too crazy. And I think in the scheme of things, if you look at it, I don't really think you can see a whole lot of contrast between the two balls of yarn. So I'm at the very least hopeful about that. But I did have to go, I went to my local yarn store, Crafty Lady Trio. They're in Macomb. And I went there and I took the gray and the cream with me, and I said I need 2 colors that are similar in a worsted weight. So this is what they gave me. This is a very bright white if you compare it, but I'm not mad about it. This is a Cascade 220 Superwash Merino in color number 25. And then this didn't come with a ball band. It's Liberty Wool. So I don't actually know what color this one is, but it's Liberty Wool. So, and this one actually, I think it is damn close. So I'm happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I need to weave in the ends still, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and I need to block it. I need to block the hell out of this thing. But the Pico bind off, oh my, it's so pretty, and it looks so, it just gives it such a nice finished look. But holy crap, the Pico bind off took forever. I was knitting on it, well, and I had never done a Pico bind off before, and it's in the pattern, and it's written pretty well in the pattern, but for some reason I just was not getting the hang of it. So I did use a tutorial to kind of see what was up. So I will link to the tutorial below in the description box, because that has been super helpful. That was super helpful to me in learning how to do a Pico bind off. But holy smokes, the Pico bind off took forever. Definitely, I think and also when it's a new technique, I'm guessing it takes a while anyway when something is new to you. But I had started at this corner over here, and I think it had been about an hour, and I was still only about halfway through this first side. So it did take forever. It felt like it took forever, but I'm happy with how it turned out. So I'm gonna finish weaving in the ends and block it, and then once that's done, you might be seeing me wearing this more frequently in my episodes. And now we'll see how long I can wear it like this. It is pretty warm in here. It's pretty warm in here. I'm also quite hungry, so I'm gonna eat after this. Okay, so next things, I had 3 sock projects that I had kind of briefly addressed in my last episode. So what I will do is I will talk about all 3 of those. First and foremost, I'll share my the Thornfield Socks, which you've seen in basically every episode for like the last 5, or I don't know. I've been working on these for a long friggin' time. So this is what they look like up close. It's the Thornfield Socks pattern by Rachel Coopy. This isn't my first time knitting this pattern. I struggled with it the first time. I made these, and I'm struggling with it the second time around too. But anyway, I'm making these for my friend Tony. They were going to be a birthday present, but then COVID happened and I had to rip out these socks 70 times. So Tony is aware that she's not getting socks for her birthday. More than likely, she's going to be getting them at some other time. She also watches the podcast, which I had forgotten. So sorry, Tony. That was not surprising at all. Good thing you have another birthday present coming in the mail soon at some point, whenever Amazon gets their shit together. So if you look at the sock right here, this is my little pizza, my Hawaiian Pizza Progress Keeper, because I don't know about you, but pineapple on pizza is the best thing ever. That's where I was last. So I haven't gotten a whole lot in. I finished the leg and I started the heel flap. So I have a few more rows of the heel flap to do, and then I can turn the heel, pick up the gusset stitches, and commence. So I will keep working on that. And then, oh, and sorry, I'm a little disorganized, a little scatterbrained. This is the Berroco Ultra Wool Fingering in the color Rosemary, and I'm knitting these on my addi, Rockets squared needles on a size 0. If you're new, my gauge is loose, so I knit on very small needles quite a lot of the time. But I do have to say I like this yarn. I like that it's superwash, but it's kind of got that woolly, it's got that woolly wool texture, which is very nice. And also I quite like this color. It's like a bottle, it's a nice earthy green when I'm looking at it under my artificial lights. But on camera, it's like a nice lush green. It's really, I don't know, I like this color. It kind of reminds me of like a bottle green, but maybe I've never actually seen a green bottle before. I don't know, really pretty. And at some point, even if it kills me, I'm gonna finish knitting these socks and I can give them to Tony at some point in 2020. Okay. Oh, also this lives in my little sock sack. This is a bag by Wuthering Sheep. I bought this, this was my birthday present to myself last year, in 2019. It was her Britannia bag, but Wuthering Sheep she doesn't make bags quite like this anymore. Her bags are still super cute, but she just doesn't, I haven't seen many bags from her probably in about 9 months that look like this. A lot of them are a little bit more, I think she uses more embroidery now on her bags. And then in my Christmas bag, which is this was the first project bag I ever bought for myself from Bags by Awesome Granny. And anything that is Christmassy lives in here, and I don't know why, but this bag is super heavy. I don't know what I did. What did I put in it? I don't think I put anything out of the ordinary except maybe my pom-pom makers. But anyway, these are, so this is a hoe, and I've made some progress. Not a whole lot of progress, but I did make some progress. These are my vintage Fairy Lights socks. This is a popular knitting pattern by Helen Stewart, also known as Curious Handmade on Instagram and on Ravelry. And I have one that's done, and then this is the second one. And if you see the little sheep, this is my little sheep progress keeper, sorry. That's how much progress I have made since. And then what I've done with this sock is, you can see there's quite a lot of like loose string hanging off of it. I just took some of my little itty bitty yarn scraps and I threaded them through a needle, and I was just counting them in increments of 10 so I would know where I was. So that's what I'm doing. I don't have any locking stitch markers. But I wanted to work on this, and finally, like, I just want these to be done so I can get them off my needles and work on something else. Also, so again, this yarn, which I don't think I've mentioned in the last episode either, this yarn is by Cornbread and Honey, and this is her color Gingerbread House. And it's a Christmassy color, and I'll share a close-up of what the sock looks like, what the stitch pattern looks like. It's just kind of fun. I think you can see the pattern a little bit there. I think it does get a little lost on camera, but I'm happy with how they're turning out, and I'm looking forward to having them complete so I can, 1, work on something else, and 2, wear them, which is more important. And I'm knitting those on ChiaoGoo red lace on a US 0. I'm gonna have to get myself a shawl cuff or something, or maybe just, you know, wrap this more securely, because I literally just... Okay, last project that I've been working on, also made a little bit of progress. Actually, I think I'm in the middle of a row. Whoops. These are my Winter Wonderland socks. This is a pattern by Melinda Mazur. She's on Instagram, and on Ravelry is Rye Flower Knits, I think, or Rye Flower. And it's a really cute pattern. And I've made some progress. This is my, if you can see, my little bluebird progress keeper. I'm trying to do a fish lips kiss heel, but it's real pretty. Let me see if I can stand up and actually, so it makes like a, it makes a snow, it uses cabling and you make cute snowflakes. Again, knitting these on my Addi Rocket Squares, size US 0. And the yarn I'm using is from Orange Flower, and the color is called Ice Crystal. So not very much going on as far as my whips. Well, I mean, I have done quite a bit in that. I finished this dude. So that's something to be proud of. I started weaving in the ends a little bit last night, but I didn't finish them. So that's gonna be my project today and tomorrow, and hopefully I can block it on Saturday. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And that's it for projects. But now that I'm making some progress on my current projects, I feel okay, and I feel like I can finish those. And you know, once I'm gonna hunker down and work on finishing those potentially. I mean, if I don't feel like knitting, I'm not gonna knit, or if I don't feel like knitting those, I might just start another project. I don't know. But I definitely do want to focus a little more on whittling down my stash. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing, getting these done and focusing on working on my stash, not really adding much new yarn. Which, speaking of, I finally have all 4 skeins of yarn for my advent. So next steps for me are I'm gonna go get some, I'm gonna find some wrapping paper probably in the basement and put some stuff together so Tony can go ahead and wrap that stuff up, and I can just hoard it until the last Sunday in November when I can start opening up for my advent. If you are new, I'm making my own advent calendar this year, and I'm doing it differently. I'm not doing mini skeins because I don't really like using mini skeins very much. And so what I'm doing is I bought some, I just bought 4 full skeins of yarn from 4 different dyers, and now I'm going to pass them along to Tony, and my friend Tony, she's gonna wrap them up for me, put labels on them, and then I'll take care of it when I'm time to open. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, that's not even what I'm thinking. That's what I'm doing. And I'm saying a lot. Oh well. This is how I talk. And I'm just trying to think. I have a few things I'd like to work on. I do have 1 skein of yarn that I have enough scraps in it. I think I'm gonna see if I can get another pair of socks out of it, but I'm gonna try and keep them as vanilla as possible. And yeah, just stash busting where possible and finishing projects. I've still got my love note living back there. I've got another sweater living back there. I need to focus on those as well as these. But I just am not a sweater knitter, I don't think. we'll see. I might have to become a sweater knitter, or maybe I'll have to knit one in order to become a sweater knitter. You know what? I've been telling myself, now that I've finished a shawl, now that I have finished a shawl project, I can call myself a shawl knitter. And I actually feel very good about this. I like this. I like the way it looks. And you know, when I knit this one, I kind of did it with the idea that, you know, eventually it would be fall, and these are very fall colors, but figure out how to style it, obviously. But regardless, I'm just trying to think if there's anything I want to talk about that's non-knitting related, which not so much today. Okay, but in the spirit of saving everybody a little bit of time and also saving myself some hanger, because I'm hungry, like really hungry. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go eat something. So just go ahead, comment down below, tell me what you're currently working on, tell me what you're looking forward to working on next, or just even tell me how you're going. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit more talkative too. And yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. So thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Happy knitting.